Okay, into the finals against Spiggles here. Yes, Spiggles. One in die roll. Yes, I want to play first. And we got to keep. Yeah, we're a little land light, but the Setter Wayfinder will guarantee it to us. And after that, we're in pretty good shape. So, zippity-doo-dah, yippity-yay. And we're off. Kind of starting to get this little horizontal, you know, in my peripheral vision thing down. Still not awesome about it, but I'm getting like, oh, you're just a turn too late, aren't you, Seji? Still playing the Wayfinder. Still want to make sure we hit this land drop. Landos. Oh, Landos. Oops. There we got a land. That's all anyone could ask for. These all get to go to the bin. And we get to F6. Alright, black opponent. Favorite color in this block for me. Black-white. Ooh, a fun color combination. Oh, that's a good card. Oy. Oy, oy. Oh, well, we're going to put some, ooh. Man, if this was a forest, I would just totally do Grove Dancer, attack with Wayfinder and Sedge Scorpion, but instead, I think we're just going to go ahead and rock out the Courser. We'll hang on to Divination for a little bit later when we need to refuel the hand. But this scares me. That's a great card. These are great color combinations. My opponent's doing it right. So, I want to hopefully get this Cloak Siren down next turn in order to start doing the air thing. What? What are you doing? What are you doing? That is just a little too cool for school, in my opinion. Luckily, it'll be a while before I'm going to do a whole lot with that. Ooh, yay. Okay, so I do want to do the Cloak Siren. My opponent can double block here and trade off with this Nessian Courser. I don't think my opponent will if I just leave up the open mana. But do I take that risk? Alternatively, I could go ahead and do the Satyr Grove Dancer, pump up the Courser, have the 4/4. I kind of like that. Yeah, let's do it. If I have a 4/4 online, I don't really need to be rushing too much with anything else, so that's cool. And just putting like a big 4/4 being something that my opponent has to answer is nice. Use one of the removal spells on it, and then I'll be able to have, you know, a Cloak Siren backup. Alright. All my 1/1s are kind of whatever, don't really care. Oh no! Well, that's a bummer. Can't do much about that. Problem is all this life gain my opponent's getting now. So, if I'm going to take the Cloak Siren or Divination? Sun and Storm's not doing a whole lot. Please take Sun and Storm. That would be just fine with me. I assume it's a Cloak Siren. Good news is this guy should die at some point? I don't know. What premium cards? None of which we saw in the draft. Well, maybe the Brain Magnet I passed, I don't remember it. I don't know. My opponent's staying alive, that's for sure. But we still get bashed with this 4/4. I'm just curious what else gets played. My poor Siren's gone. Oppressive Rays. Wow. Well, my opponent definitely has put together the cohesive deck now. Although I guess this is just kind of like an insane put together of stuff. Probably going to be attacking the Sedge Scorpion. I would be happy for to trade off with any of these dudes. We're going to play Divination, see what else we get here. Opponent knows about it, so no worries. Those are good cards, that's for sure. I'm not attacking. I'm just going to attack in with the Sedge Scorpion, as previously described. I don't see my opponent blocking it at all. It's just a free point of damage. And I don't care about it on the blocks too much. If my opponent wants to leave him or herself open, then we're pretty good with that. Gosh. So much life gain. My opponent's playing enchantment all the way. Which is pretty cool, I'm gonna say it. Haven't seen that. A little worried now that this guy gets to start doing the Intimidate thing on stuff. I need to figure out how to auto-yield those things. I'll have to do that when not recording. Okay, the Asp is just going to come down here. And again, we'll just attack with the Sedge Scorpion, especially now that things don't really matter by way of Intimidate. We just want to put a lot of pressure on my opponent. This could get asphyxiated, but my last opponent revealed 2 asphyxiates in hand. Obviously, it's a common. There could totally be, you know, more in the draft, but this could be also A-okay. Being able to start beating out the 4-5 is really nice, especially having Grip Tide available. My opponent will have to do some types of like multiple blocks, and hopefully we get some blowout potential there. If the Asp stays alive. Is my opponent... Did my opponent cast a... Oh, wait, the Underworld. I was like, what just happened? I saw these triggers going, like, where did it go? Alright, 1-3, not quite as amazing. And we are starting to take quite a bit of damage now from the Deadbringer Lampad. But my opponent is going to be out of cards fairly soon. So we have a 1-3 that doesn't really do a whole lot. Still, having a Hubris and a Grip Tide is pretty cool. The thing is, I don't really have an attack right now. So I think we do is just pay 3 for the Courser to attack and keep our Hubris available. Yes. That's what we're going to do. And my opponent's down to 20. Yeah, we just want to draw like another land or something. Okay, my opponent's going to start doing the grind out now. I could just bounce this Asp back to my hand at end of turn. Could bounce the Brain Maggot so I get the Cloak Siren, but then it just can take something else out. But if that happens, none of the other creatures are quite as good. Alright, so the opponent is busting a move in here. Interesting. Well, I'm happy to double block the Underworld Coinsmith with 2 of my cards that do nothing. The 4-2, do I just want to... I think I do just want to put the Asp in front of it, prevent some damage. I can just bounce the Asp, but then my opponent gets the weight back, so that doesn't really do a whole lot, right? Yeah, never mind. We'll just take that. And if that's the case, do I want a Coinsmith dead or a Lamphead dead? The fact that these guys do a lot right now, and I'm losing this race isn't great, but I have enough pressure to make it not important. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and double on the Lampad here. Combat Trick or something, that's fine. I'm not stoked to Hubris any enchantment based on all the Constellation action. Oh, that's wonderful for me. Do I Hubris the Brain Maggot? I kind of like that idea. The problem is it is an enchantment, and my opponent can kind of just rest on those laurels, but it allows me... No, I can still attack next turn anyway. I'm going to keep it. This is wonderful. I do kind of want a creature. The thing is, I don't want to get so low in life that like this ends up sucking. We'll keep the Sedge Scorpion back for blocks, and I think we just attack in for 5 right now and keep the Hubris up again. Could do the Grip Tide now and the Brain Maggot. I think I'd rather wait and just put pressure and even up the board. My opponent can hit me for 3 right now. I'm down to 6. So yeah, I just want to close the gap, really. This could be wrong. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing here. But with my opponent out of gas, like these are the two things that my opponent can be doing. And if, again, I think if I close the gap, it makes them way less, way not as cool. What I don't want to do is give my opponent enchantments to play to gain life. Okay, if I go down to 4, I'm at 2, then I die. 1, 2, 3 means I'm still kind of on that dead plan. So we're going to block a Sedge Scorpion. And then what? Hubris the Brain Maggot? What am I doing here? What's going on? We're killing one of these guys, assuming my opponent has no tricks. Hubris another. Which one do I care about for Hubrising? They're all enchantments. They all get played, and my opponent gains a life. So I want it to be less life. So do I want to bounce one of the Underworld dudes or this guy? Yeah, I don't really care about the 1 damage. So that's what's going to happen. Cool. It would be nice to get the Cloaked Siren back, but I can't play on the same turn. I think it's a little too slow. Yeah. It also means if my opponent wants to get this activation now, my opponent has to spend the mana now. My opponent does not. That's good. That means my opponent didn't take the activation, that extra activation. Ooh. Now that's very bad. Now I'm scared. I think I'm just about dead. How do I get out of this? My opponent untaps and kills me with Underworld Coinsmith. Can I do enough damage between now and then to make that okay? I can only do 4, 5. That puts me down at 7. Like if I were to do, say, like a Sudden Storm, tap both these guys down. Creature doesn't untap, and this is just an activated, right? Yeah, and pay 1 life. Okay. So what I have to do is on the upkeep of my opponent's turn, or I guess I can just do this now. But before untapping, I have to put the Griptide on top of my opponent's deck just to stay alive. Alright, so I'll attack him with the Asp, see if my opponent lets me kill something. Probably won't. Actually, no, I need it on defense at this point. Oh. Definitely not happy about this, but there you go. Oh, that doesn't even matter. I'm going to play it and then still kill me because I'm down to 2, not 3. Oh, well. That was a bad move. Show my opponent a Griptide for no reason. Yeah, I needed to do it. Well, I guess it didn't really matter when I did it. No matter what would happen. Oh, well. Poor play. Bummy. My opponent's deck is really cool. I'm not gonna lie. Super jealous. I 100% want my enchantment hate. That's for sure. Where's my Creation Plague? Yeah, I think getting 2 of those guys right away out is a bit of a challenge. Is there anything else? I just want to be able to pound through what my opponent's doing. How do I do that? I don't have anything else that's evasive in my colors. So let's just try to go quicker than my opponent. Eternity Snare seems pretty bad. We only saw the 4-2. My opponent's really wanting to go grindy, right? But then maybe I still like it better than the Flutterstep Eidolon. Because yeah, I'd rather take out one of my opponent's threats and draw a card than I would just like to be able to like bash through. Most of my guys are probably going to be able to bash through anyway. Yeah, I like that much better. Alright, I would like to play first. And this is a keep. We'd love to draw one of my many 3-drops to get that trainer rolling. Alright, let's pull out some wins. There's a 3-drop. Very nice 3-drop, in fact. Now I just want to land. So we can go 2, 3, 4. Devastating 2, 3, 4. Coinsmith? No Coinsmith. That's very nice. Gotta play this guy early to get my extra point in. Boink. And then, if my opponent doesn't have like ways to do removal spells right now, we should be able to keep attacking fairly okay, which we can. We'll at least get to get some 2 points in, thanks to the Hypnotist taking out that one little bit of damage. And we did get our 4th land, which is quite fantastic. Opponent can prevent 2 damage, but we still get to put 2 through. And if you're kind of like a little bit on the lead with the Coinsmith, that can help as long as there's not too much life gain from the Coinsmiths. But man, the Grim Guardian and 2 Coinsmiths is definitely scary. We need to keep this pressure up. And Griptide is not particularly awesome, but it will help hopefully clear away a lot of the blockers. Brain Maggot! Well, I definitely want the Cloak Siren into play, so I'm going to play it in response. Because that allows me to continue to have pressure on my opponent. And then my opponent can take like the Game Warden or the Trainer or the Griptide. I mean, anything that my opponent feels based on my opponent's hand. I don't have the other lands, so the Nessian Game Warden might be like a... what you would normally think about getting first. Woohoo! Fireworks! Happy 4th of July! I don't know if that sounded on the recording. We had a nice little explosion out there. Okay, so my opponent did go for it. I mean, it is likely I'm going to draw a land fairly soon. Thing is, I can go ahead and, Oppressive Raise and Cloak Siren. That's still okay, because these guys still get an attack in. I can do a Griptide at end of turn, get my dude back, and then, play the Game Warden, so that's not entirely awesome. For my opponent, I should say. And we're drawing a decent dude here. Do I want to keep up the Griptide right now? Or do I just want to pay 3 and bash in? I kind of like the idea of doing the Griptide against the Brain Maggot. No, I'm going to wait to do that, because I have to say I want to do that after my hand's empty. So for now, I will just pay 3 and attack. And put the pressure on my opponent. I mean, I'm totally the aggressor. The more I can do here right now, the better. My opponent has no good blocks. Can prevent some damage or trade and I get my dude back, but whatever. I'm still doing 3 to my opponent. That's interesting. What are you doing? What are you doing? Cool. I'm not stoked that's how I'm using my mana, but I think waiting a turn to play the Nyxborn Triton on Bestow is, of course, quite fantastic. Baleful Eidolon, very good. Maybe that's what I Griptide. So I can keep bashing in for 2. That doesn't seem particularly awesome. Especially since it just gets my opponent another Constellation trigger. Another oppressive raise, you say? Well, alrighty then. How do I want to do this? Oh, you're attacking. That's fascinating. Huh. So I still get attack in for conceivably 5 damage. I think what we do is we put the Triton on to the Cloaked Siren, make this guy a 3/4, attack in. Either the Baleful Island gets taken care of, probably won't, or my opponent goes on 7. Or I put the Nyxborn Triton on the Oak Dryads, then it becomes a point where my opponent pretty much has to block it, right? I'm not worried about necessarily this kind of damage race. The play is definitely the Nyxborn Triton. Do I just want to attack in for 5 in general? That seems horrible. Where does the Triton go? The Dryads or the Cloaked Siren? I think it goes on the Dryads right now. I don't know if my opponent can afford to take 5. So that forces the Eidolon out of the way, and I have a nice big beater after that. Ooh, a boon. Okay. Still got a card out of hand. And I still have a big beater. Time does now start to become of the essence. But with a Griptide in hand, which my opponent knows about. But I'm so stuck on mana with these oppressive rays. Now this is fascinating. So my opponent is trying to race this out. Could have more enchantments in hand to make that a good possibility. Because now with all this damage happening, that is definitely a thing. But I'm also glad that Grim Guardian can't block anymore. Land is good. So if I want to attack with everybody, I can now. Do I want to? Or do I just go ahead and Eternity Snare the Grim Guardian? My opponent doesn't have mana at the moment. I can go ahead and do a Griptide on the Baleful Eidolon. Only attack in for 4. That's half my opponent's life total. Then I have a close to lethal creature. Can't block, but there's 3, 4, possibly only 5 damage coming through. I'm kind of tempted to just attack with everything right now. I think I have to do the Griptide first, though. I mean, the Eternity Snare first. We'll draw our card, keep the Grim Guardian down, only attack with the Dryads. If it takes us out, that's fine. Yeah. This just allows us to take both these guys out and make him not a blocker, which really matters. I mean, he's already a blocker, but I mean, like, it's just not a consideration anymore. Ooh, I forgot that. See, this has an interaction that I've already seen even in this one actual draft, and I forgot about it. Being silly here. Desecration Plague, that will be very good. And yeah, I assume the Dryad is now going to just trade with the Eidolon. But it does put us in a good spot, I think. Because we're still going to be attacking with a 2/3. And we can't attack with these guys if we want to use our mana that way. Another Oppressive Raise? Alright. Opponent can hit me for 1 now. But I'm definitely just going in on the Cloaked Siren plan at this point. Nyxborn Shieldmate. So what I would love is to draw a land in order to attack with Cloaked Siren and play my Desecration Plague. It allows me to get my dude back. And my opponent is just keeping back blocks. That's actually really good for me. Sun and Storm doesn't matter all that much. We don't have the land we really want. I don't think the 2 points of damage doesn't scare me too much. Can my opponent do 3? I think my opponent can do 4. I think I win that race. And if that's the case, we're going to bash in with both. No, my opponent can just block. Hold on. I don't know how this works the right way, so we'll do it the way I was doing it before. Man, a land would have been pretty clutch there. Maybe it was better. Maybe I should just do a Desecration Plague, kill the Brain Maggot. I get my dude back. There's a 1/3 that no one cares about. But I also just feel like I can do that whenever. Right now, this 2/3 isn't mattering too much. I don't know. It could have been better to do the Desecration Plague, or like keep open Sun and Storm. But I think I have another turn before that matters. And my life gets really good if I just get like an extra land online. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is an interesting decision. Coinsmith. Well, we knew that was in the deck. I definitely want to kill a Coinsmith with my Desecration Plague. Really want to draw a land. Oh, I'm silly. Maybe the Desecration Plague should just take out, you know, an Oppressive Raise. That would not be the end of the world either. I love that I have this plus my dudes up. All right, so we take out... My opponent can't really activate this too well, but I'm definitely in danger of being, like, dead. If I Sudden Storm... That doesn't help a whole lot, but I do think I want a Sun and Storm. I think what I want to do is attack with Cloak Siren, have Sun and Storm up so my opponent can't attack through, and then I should have it. That's the game plan. Alright, let's hope that works out okay. Kind of nerve-wracking here. And I'm back to, like, having this really long, drawn-out game in time. Sorry, guys! I'm gonna have to do another quick game next turn. This is not the matchup for that, obviously. Do I want Divination? No, I don't have mana for it. We have to Desecration Plague the Coinsmith. Ugh. It's a whole extra turn. But now we don't have to Desecration Plague, right? My opponent can do 1, 2, 3 points to me, but then would kill self as well since we're in the lead. So what I can do is what? A Griptide and attack? I have 4, 8. So I can do a Desecration Plague on an Oppressive Raise and Griptide. But I don't have enough to actually kill anybody. Or just attack for 3 and do a Desecration Plague? I definitely want to be attacking. That needs to happen. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna attack with the Cloak Siren again. That puts my opponent at 1, so my opponent can't activate the Underworld Coinsmith, which means I care much less about it. And then, what do? I don't want a Griptide, I just want a Desecration Plague. The Eidolon, so my opponent can't, like, sneak out a kill or something. And I think that should do it. My opponent could have something, but not enough to do 5 damage, right? Maybe if my opponent has 2 enchantments, then, you know, a bunch of life comes through. I don't know. I have 6, despite the fact that, I have an island off, because I care about my time more, kind of like in the last really long match. My opponent goes out in style, I totally respect that. If I knew how to chat better, I'd probably take time to do that, but you guys are probably just waiting for us to get on to the next game. So, Setessan Starbreaker has to come in now. We've seen so many Oppressive Rays. This is definitely a deck that wants Setessan, or an opponent that I want to have Setessan Starbreaker against. What don't I care about? The bounce stuff should be fine. We're all going late, so late things are cool, but Eternity Stare seems to be, like, not that big of a deal. It's one of my 6 drops, and on top of it, like, you know, I'm winning with my evasion and getting other pieces out of there. But at the same time, this is, you know, bounce isn't necessarily great against my opponent. My opponent wants to be having Constellation triggers all the time. Maybe I do get rid of, like, Hubris or Griptide instead. Eternity Snare does draw that card, but for some reason that feels better to me. Alright. Quick play, quick play, quick play. Alright, cool. We've got a keep. It's not awesome because our 5s are kind of like where our power's at, but I don't want to mulligan when I have, you know, actual lands and spells and both colors of lands. So there you have it. Double white's good for me. Right now we're just on line to play the Nyxborn Triton as our 3-drop, because we have 2 decent 5-drops. Opponent's a little bit mana screwed here. Surprise, surprise, Oppressive Rays is down. That's okay as long as my opponent's not killing me in the process. I don't have a 4-drop. So I will just go ahead and attack. And I'll keep up Triton Tactics, in case for some reason I want to do that. And then next turn, I think I'll play the Game Warden. Even though I like having the flyer, this is a big old beater, and it'll get me some card advantage, and I don't want it to get brain maggoted, as it were. So that could happen now. Nope, Coinsmith coming down. Sedge Scorpion. Late to the party, but that's fine. Alright. Well, I got a Cloak Siren and then bury a bunch of lands. I'm very happy with that. Kind of the best thing you could imagine for me. I really do just want creatures that can be attacking so that all these Oppressive Rays don't, like, bump me out. So next turn maybe we just play Sedge Scorpion, say go, keep our instants up, and play the Cloak Siren. Certainly a thing. Maybe we go ahead and bounce the Baleful Eidolon with Hubris so we can attack in for 4. It doesn't seem particularly amazing. We'll wait on that. The thing is, bouncing it now means we do get a lot of damage in, and my opponent's not getting full value out of the trigger. Yeah, we got flyers. Let's just stick to our flyers. Obviously, I have a flash creature or something, because I'm not attacking with an Nyxborn Triton. Ooh, Fate Unraveler. That is a good card. So we're going to get pinged away here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out of this. We need to get our flyers pronto. And my opponent still has 4 cards, so I imagine another Oppressive Raise is online. Yeah, this can get hard. Sweet deck for my opponent, though. You've just got to admit that. I admit that. Alright, do I want to do a Sea God's Revenge? There's tons of Constellation triggers, but it puts my opponent really far behind, and we had to do 9 points of damage. Kinda like it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Or do I want to wait 1 turn to do it? No, I want to do it now. This guy's good.